Hello dear children, welcome you to the third module in physics from the chapter Light, Reflection and Refraction. In this module, we'll be studying about spherical mirrors. Children, have you viewed your face on a large shining spoon? If not, please try. Take a large shining spoon and view your face on the curved surface of the spoon, that is on the concave surface. When you bring your face very close to the curved surface, you see a magnified erect image. When you move the spoon away from your face, you get an inverted image of yours. Now flip the spoon and view your face on the convex bulge surface of the spoon. You will see your diminished image. So children, the curved surface of a shining spoon could be considered as a curved mirror. The most commonly used curved mirror are spherical mirrors. So spherical mirrors are of two types, concave mirrors and convex mirrors. You have gone through concave and convex mirrors in your lower classes. Just recall, what is a concave mirror? Look the figure there. If light falls on the reflecting surface which is curved inward, it's said as a concave mirror. You can see concave mirror, mirrors always work on the principle of reflection. So light falls on the reflecting surface that is curved inward here and the other outer silvered surface is on the other side. Convex mirror, if the light falls on the reflecting surface which is curved outward, that type of mirrors are convex mirrors. Look the figure. And hope you all have seen and touched the concave and the convex mirrors available in our labs. When you touch the concave mirror, you can see that the mirror will be curved inward there, whereas a little bulging is there over the convex mirror. So let us study about spherical mirrors in detail. Take some time to identify the mirrors that are shown here. The first mirror is of course a plane mirror. Why? Because the size of the object is equal to the size of the image. The image is erect. We know the properties of image formed by a plane mirror. The second mirror, you can see it's a makeup mirror. The top and the one that is shown below, both are of the same type. Both are makeup mirrors. In the first, you can see a magnified image of the eye of the person. The second, you can see an inverted image of the person. So both are concave mirrors. Concave mirrors are the only mirrors which give the magnified erect image when the object is very close to the mirror, and it gives a inverted real image when the object is far. So we'll study in detail about this. So the second one is a concave mirror. The third figure, please see children, there you can see a diminished image of the person or of the object. So that is a convex mirror. You know, the mirrors that we use in our vehicles as side view mirrors and rear view mirrors are convex mirrors. Okay, now let us continue. Children, when a parallel beam of light falls on a concave mirror has the ability to converge the light rays and all the light rays meet at a point. And hence, concave mirrors are called as converging mirrors. But when a parallel beam of light falls on a convex mirror, it diverges the light rays, or the light rays appear to be diverging from a common point. Hence, convex mirrors are called as diverging mirrors. You can see there what type of image is formed there in a convex mirror. Yeah, it's a virtual image. So we'll study about that. So concave mirrors are converging mirrors and convex mirrors are diverging mirrors. Both the plane mirrors and the curved mirrors obey the laws of reflection. Children, now let us define spherical mirrors and define all the terms related to spherical mirrors. For that, you have to assume a hollow sphere of glass. And if we are imagining that we are taking a part of it, or we cut it, we'll get a convex surface and a concave surface. So spherical mirror is that mirror whose reflecting surface is the part of a hollow sphere of glass. That is assumption. So why spherical mirrors are called spherical? Because their reflecting surface are a part of a hollow sphere of glass, and also because their reflecting surfaces are spherical. That's why they are given the name spherical mirrors. So the reflecting surface of a spherical mirror may be curved inward or may be curved outward. So based on that, the classification comes as concave mirrors and convex mirrors. Let us again define them. So a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inwards is called a concave mirror. The figure again is given. And a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved outward. So in the concave mirror you can see that cave shape. So always be careful when you draw this concave and convex mirror. Don't get confused. To draw a concave mirror, you have to remember that cave shape. That is the one where the light falls. That is our reflecting surface. It's curved inward. Children, now we know that spherical mirrors are a part of a hollow sphere of glass. They work on the reflection of light. We will now understand the meaning of some new terms like center of curvature, radius of curvature, pole, principal axis, which are used in the study of spherical mirrors. So, please look the diagram. Here the diagram shows how a concave mirror forms a part of a hollow sphere of glass. The dotted line shows it. First, we'll define center of curvature, noted by the letter capital C. As you can see, there, center of curvature, it is the center of the hollow sphere of glass, of which the spherical mirror is a part. It's a point that is lying outside the mirror and it lies in front of the concave mirror. Radius of curvature, noted by the letter capital R. Children, by looking into the diagram, it's very clear that this hollow sphere has a radius. So what is radius of curvature? It is the radius of the hollow sphere of glass of which the spherical mirror is a part. And you can note that the distance from C to P is the radius of curvature here. Pole, noted by the letter capital P. What is pole? Can you define? Pole is the center of a spherical mirror, or it is a midpoint of a spherical mirror. So when you note a pole in a spherical mirror, it should come exactly in the center of that particular mirror. Principal axis. Principal axis is a straight line passing through the center of curvature and the pole of a spherical mirror. You can see here the straight line and how you can see that the center of curvature and both the pole are lying on the principal axis. Now we have to define principal focus, focal length, aperture, and that we will define in the coming slides. Children, so let us repeat the definition again. The radius of curvature R, it is the radius of the hollow sphere of glass of which the spherical mirror is a part. The pole P, the pole of a spherical mirror is the center of the mirror, or it's the midpoint of the spherical mirror. The principal axis. The principal axis of a spherical mirror is a straight line passing through the center of curvature, noted by that C, and pole capital P of the spherical mirror. Look the diagram very carefully. Let us define principal focus, focal length, and find the relationship between radius of curvature and focal length. Children, you know that concave mirror is a converging mirror. It converges the light rays after reflection that we have just discussed. So here you can see parallel beam of light that is incidenting on the reflecting surface of a concave mirror, and after reflection they are meeting at a point, and that point is noted by the letter capital F. and that represents principal focus. So how to define principal focus of a concave mirror? The principal focus of a concave mirror is a point on the principal axis to which all the light rays which are parallel and close to the axis converge or meet after reflection from the mirror. So children, capital F is the principal focus, and since here the actual intersection of light rays happens after reflection, we can say that the image is real, or we say that a concave mirror has a real focus, and this focus also lies in front of the mirror. Children, let us define focal length and aperture now and try to find the relationship between the radius of curvature and focal length of a spherical mirror. When you look the diagram, we understand that capital F. What is capital F? It denotes the principal focus. So principal focus of a concave mirror we have already defined. So the distance from the principal focus to the pole of a mirror is called as the focal length of a spherical mirror. And when we analyze, we see that the focal length is half of the radius of curvature. Children, what is radius of curvature? It is the radius of the hollow sphere. That is the distance from center of curvature to the pole. So always for mirrors having small diameters, the focal or the principal focus will always lie exactly the midway between the center of curvature and the pole. That is why radius of curvature is twice the focal length, or we say focal length is half of the radius of curvature. Now children, the last term, what is aperture? So aperture is the diameter or the portion of the spherical mirror from which the actual reflection of the light rays takes place. So let's define what focal length is. Focal length of a mirror is the distance between the pole and the principal focus. The focal length of a spherical mirror is equal to the half of its radius of curvature, or radius of curvature is twice the focal length. Now children, what is aperture? The diameter of the reflecting surface. That means when you look the figure, you can see from M to M dash, the light rays can fall on that particular portion of the mirror. So the diameter of the reflecting surface of a spherical mirror is defined as aperture. Hope you understood it. That means the portion of a mirror from which the reflection of light actually takes place is called as the aperture of the mirror. Different mirrors have different apertures. Some mirrors have small aperture and some have big apertures. Children, look the diagram here. Here the diagram shows how a convex mirror can be considered as a part of a hollow sphere of glass. The reflecting surface is bulged outward and you can see the inner coating. And you can analyze that in convex mirror, the center of curvature lies behind the mirror. The principal focus also lies behind the mirror. Radius of curvature, the length between the center of curvature and the pole, lies behind the mirror. So all the terms related to concave mirror is the same for convex mirror, but except that principal focus we have to define in a different way, and that will define in the next slide. Let us define the principal focus of a convex mirror. It's very important. So children, here you can see that all the incident parallel rays are reflected, and we know that convex mirror is a diverging mirror, so it diverges the light rays, and the reflected light rays are extrapolated backward so that they meet at a point, and this point is our principal focus, that is capital F. And as you see, it lies midway between the pole of the mirror and the center of curvature. So let us define principal focus. So the principal focus of a convex mirror is a point on the principal axis from which all the light rays initially parallel to the axis appears to diverge after reflection from the mirror. So a convex mirror has a virtual focus. Why do we say a convex mirror has a virtual focus? Because actual intersection of light rays doesn't happen, and this focus lies behind the mirror. Hope children you understood the principal focus of a convex mirror. Now children, it's the homework part. The diagrams that have to be drawn in the notebook front side. You know, you have drawn plane mirror image formation. So after that, give a heading spherical mirrors, and you have to start with concave mirror and convex mirror ray diagram. Sorry, not ray diagram, the diagram of concave and convex mirror. It's there in the third slide of this video. So you have to show the reflecting surface and the coating. Then mirrors, spherical mirrors forming a part of a sphere. So that is there in the 7th and the 12th slide, that you can combine and draw it together up and down or on the same page, and all the parts, all the terms have to be labeled properly, and you can write the main terms with the definitions below. Then the principal focus of a concave mirror and the principal focus of a convex mirror, that is there in the 10th and the 13th slide. You have to copy the ray diagram as it is, very important, and you have to write with the definition. So very important definitions: principal focus of a concave mirror and a convex mirror. The ray diagram also has to be drawn. So hope you will complete it and stay safe. Thank you.